What's this? 2 Micahsoft videos without half a year's break in between them? So after recording my other video, I realized that I kind of like this improv format. It works for me in terms of making videos at least. So I've decided today I'm going to make another video with my thoughts on the most recent Nintendo Direct. So I originally thought that yesterday was going to be a Nintendo Direct because they were teasing a bunch of things and GameStop accidentally leaked that one tweet. And then it didn't end up coming and Nintendo just trolled all of us, and it was actually pretty good. Some pretty good memes came out of that one. And anyways, today I'm at work and I got texted by Davis. He said, Dark Souls is on the Switch. And I said, nice meme. And he said, no, dude, for real. And he sent me the link and I couldn't watch it because I had to give chicken to people. On break, I watched it. I was very pleasantly surprised with all the announcements. People are complaining that there's too many ports, which I think is kind of dumb because, like, it's still more games and nobody played the Wii U games to begin with. Anyways, I'm just going to go down the line of my little notes here. So I'm actually really hyped for The World Ends With You. I never played the original version. Obviously I had a DS, like I was anybody. That wasn't the sort of game that interested me when I was the age of having a DS, and I just never got around to it later. So the Switch version, you can use touch controls with the Switch by itself, and also you can use the Joy-Cons, which seems cool. I remember there being like a mobile port that came out a while ago, and people are worried that they're just gonna port the mobile version onto the Switch, which, I mean, it makes sense that they would do that, but I feel like they're gonna go a little bit of the extra mile. They already said that they're adding more content, like an epilogue, and I think it'll be fine. That's definitely one of the games that was shown off that I'm gonna buy, mostly because it's an exclusive, and it was something I always kind of wanted to play. Next up, they have Pokken Tournament, which Aegis Slash is now playable. He's actually one of my favorite Pokemons from Generation 6. They also added Blastoise, who's just one of my favorite Pokemon in general. I'm not a fighting game person in the slightest, so this isn't really something that I'm personally going to be buying. I don't have Pokken Tournament to begin with, but I know those people who do are probably super hyped for this because it's more content to a game. So now what I am really hyped for is Kirby Star Allies, because you can play as Spider Kirby now, which is what everyone wanted. I remember like a long time ago when Kirby Superstar Ultra was on the DS, I really loved that game, and I wanted to play it with friends, but I never really had the opportunity to. Because if you wanted to play anything other than Spring Breeze, you needed the other person to have the game cartridge, and that was just not something that generally happened when I was a kid. Like, I guess some friends would have the same games as me, but I was never in situations where I could actually play a game like that. I think that the co-op nature of the Switch makes a ton of sense for this partners game, because you can just be around someone and it's like, hey, wanna take a Joy-Con off and play some co-op Kirby? So this is something that I'm super hyped for. Definitely will get on launch, definitely will end up playing with my friends. I always love Kirby games, just in general. I know they're simple and easy to beat and not that challenging, but they're always a good time, especially when you're playing with someone else. I got the 3DS Kirbys, but I never really played too much of them because it didn't have co-op, and that's kind of what I enjoy the most about the newer Kirby games. So Nintendo also showed a Hyrule Warriors port, which is something I've definitely wanted. I was actually talking to my friend Zach about it not too long ago. After I got the Fire Emblem Warriors port, I was like, man, they really should put Hyrule Warriors on here, because I played Fire Emblem Warriors and like the game's fun, but I'm not nearly as big of a Fire Emblem fan as I am a Zelda fan. There are people who know all these characters by heart. Oh, where's my Fire Emblem 6 Shadow Dragon OC waifu character? And I'm like, I don't care, dude. I have Marth, okay? He's cool. Roy's not in the game, whatever. Hyrule Warriors is definitely one of those games that needed to be ported, especially because they had that 3DS version that had way more content, and I definitely wanted to play Hyrule Warriors Legends, but if you've looked at any footage of that game, you would realize that it runs at an actual 5 frames per second. I honestly have no idea why they even put Warriors games on a 3DS. Like, you're just asking for failure there. Like, there's no way the system can run it at a decent. And then they put the Fire Emblem Warriors game on new 3DS too. I don't know, it's stupid. So then they showed off a new Mario Tennis game, which is awesome. I love Mario Tennis, at least I used to back when they made good ones. The last one I played was the 3DS one. I played a lot of the GameCube one and a lot of the Game Boy one. And so this one has a story mode again, which is one of my favorite parts of Mario Tennis in general. Also, why on earth did they take all the characters' hats away? I know they made a Wii U Mario Tennis, but I really didn't care to play it whatsoever because it looked like the most bland thing on this planet. It actually just looked like some regular sports game with a Mario skin on it. That's how bland it looked. Then they talked about this game called Ys 8. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. I'm not a weeb, okay? I've joked about this enough, but I'm not a weeb. I don't play games like this. Actually, what they did show of this game did look pretty cool. It's not necessarily something I see myself buying, especially because I don't really play multi-platform games on Switch. It's not really for me. I like using it as a handheld, but I still probably use it as a console as much. Then they showed new content for Super Mario Odyssey, which was awesome because Luigi was there, and I thought he was going to be playable, and I was about to scream in the middle of my break because Luigi's the best, and that's all I wanted to begin with that game. But he's not playable. You just place balloons in places and go find them. I guess you can hide the balloons in better places than the developers held those like super easy moons I talked about in my last video. I mean, it's a free update, so there's no room to complain, really. I think it'll definitely be a fun thing to get into. Speedrunning has never really been my kind of thing, but I definitely like the maneuverability of Super Mario Odyssey. I just don't have the patience to learn all the speedrunning routes for an entire game, but I definitely would be the type who would get all over rushing for an individual balloon here and there. Then they showed off this SNK Fighters game with anime girls, so pass. They announced a Donkey Kong DLC for Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, which is cool, except for Grant Kirkhope already confirmed that he's not making a new DK rap, so I mean, what was the point? Like, seriously, why on earth would you even think it's a good idea if you're not gonna put a new DK rap in it, okay? That's all we care about. That's all I care. That's the only reason I played ukulele. It's the only reason I liked it. The ukulele rap wasn't even in the game, okay? But that was the best part of the game, was that one stupid trailer with the ukulele rap, okay? Grant Kirkhope, drop your mixtape already, please. So I only played a tiny bit of the base game of Mario and Rabbids. It was a fun game, I just never got too attached to it. I'll probably go back to it at some point. They showed off Payday footage, which is cool, but I think we've known about Payday for like a year. I feel like we've known about it for quite some time. I don't know why they took time to show it off in this direct. I guess they had that new character or whatever, but once again, not really something that's for me. I'm sure there are people out there who'll play it. I won't. Also, I think they're taking this HD Rumble thing way too seriously. They said they have recoil on the guns in Payday 2, which it's interesting, but if it's actually HD, if it's real recoil, that Joy-Con's gonna go flying across the room and no one's gonna want to play this game. And we all know that the ultimate HD Rumble game is already out, okay? That's what we really needed in this direct, was that this game getting localized, okay? Why on earth is this not localized? Obviously, I have a bit too much respect for myself to actually play this game, but you know that the weebs would be all over this game. This game would sell a bunch. So then they announced that they took Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze and they made it playable because they put Funky Kong in the game, which is basically break the game Kong. He's literally invincible. It's an interesting thing to add. It's not something I see myself using because I'm not a scrub. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze was one of those games on the Wii U that totally deserved better than being on the Wii U, so porting this one makes a lot of sense. I personally never played much of this game. I had it because I got it for free for some Nintendo rewards thing, and what I did play seemed like a good game, but I just never really had the time to get into it. Because it's handheld now, I probably will play quite a bit of this one. I'm definitely looking at picking this version of the game up. I guess Funky Kong is kind of useful because if you're like me, everyone else who plays games with you is utter garbage. You can just let them play Funky Kong. And so then the big announcement at the end was Dark Souls for Nintendo Switch. Everyone lost their minds, woohoo. I'm personally not the biggest Dark Souls fan in the world. I have all 3 of them on Steam, and I've beaten none of them because I'm garbage at Dark Souls. It's not something I see myself picking up because, like I said, I already have the first one on Steam, even though that port is garbage, and I'm sure the Switch port, honestly, will run better than the Prepare to Die edition on Steam, but I don't know, I don't see myself picking it up. If I get really into Dark Souls one day, maybe, but I see myself getting it on Steam before I would get it on the Nintendo Switch, mainly because I know some people would want to play Dark Souls on the go, but that's not my sort of thing, because I don't want people to see me losing my mind in public as I lose constantly. The kind of people I do see getting this one are people like my uncle, who've kind of missed the past couple of years because they've been busy growing up, but now bought a Nintendo Switch for their child. When your son has to go to bed, what are you gonna do? Play Dark Souls, that's what you're gonna do. Uncle Zach, buy Dark Souls, please. Overall, I think this is a pretty good Nintendo Direct. I think they chose the right games to port. Very little people had a Wii U, so it makes sense they would put these games on the Switch. First of all, they deserve to be played. They're good. Second of all, they'll make money, and that's really all they care about right now. And if you're an investor, you care about that. If you're a Nintendo fan, you should care about them making money because eventually that money will go into develop more games. It'll be better for you. Or Nintendo will just start doing loot boxes, either or. I mean, you know, whatever they want.